With an update on two WWE legends being on WrestleMania 40 and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on and don't forget to like the video. Asked about Adam Copeland's AEW debut, Ricky Stark said on the Battleground podcast, "I think it's a great thing. Having new people come and spruce it up and mix it up is always good, especially people who are eager to try and help. That can only benefit everyone. I am excited to see the matchups he's able to have within AEW. It's a very exciting time, especially people who have fallen out of wrestling. To hear that Edge, Adam Copeland, is back is good. I just need to have a talk with him about the spear. There is only one top dog who uses the spear, and it's me, Ricky Starks. We have to nip that in the bud. It's just minor housekeeping rules when you come to AEW. Don't tug on Superman's cape, don't piss in the wind, and don't do the spear. I don't want to have to spear Adam Copeland. I'll be hated even more online. Edge, Christian, whatever. The biggest spear at AEW is me. I have the best spear." Addressing the backlash he received from fans when supporting Jade Cargill's WWE signing, Ricky Stark said during that same interview, "I didn't think it was a big deal. I still don't think it's a big deal. I did congratulate my friend for sure. It's no different from any other friend that they, go on and get a job. It was kind of weird to see all that, but I'm used to it because when someone leaked that footage of me going to visit Cody, I got the same visceral reaction. I probably got another visceral reaction when I thanked Punk for how Punk had treated me, right? I'm only doing these things based off my experience with them. If it doesn't concern me, I'm not going to talk about it. It's where the people get mad at me or tell me this or that when I'm speaking genuinely from the heart. I still don't understand it. People are going to make up different excuses why that was a bad look, this or that. Me personally, I don't see being proud of somebody for their efforts and what happens next in the chapter of their lives. I never see it as a bad thing. I'm not one to try and argue with people that they're wrong." Celebrating his wedding anniversary with his wife Rebby, Matt Hardy posted on X, "Happy 10th anniversary, mama. We've officially been married a decade and I love you more than ever." Going over the WWE status of Cora Jade on NXT, BWE said on X she should be fine and back shortly. With Mark Briscoe suffering an injury back in July, PW Insider said this about his current status. Mark Briscoe is back in the ring training for his comeback. Speaking of Bleacher Report, Adam Copeland said this about his acting career, saying, "I love it, I really do, and acting really kind of saved me in a way through what could have been emotionally tumultuous times. Acting fell in my lap right after I retired, and it was Haven and going out to Nova Scotia shooting that and really diving into the character and becoming one of the main characters on the show. That was huge because otherwise I just would have been kind of floating and not really knowing what to do with myself, and that gave me something to do, and then I realized it still taps that creative vein, and it's not the same as wrestling, and it doesn't give me the same feeling that wrestling nothing does, but it still gave me a feeling, and a really good one. When you do a scene and you go, oh man, I think we found something here, and we discovered something, the act of discovery with another artist is so much fun. It's when you find a groove or you find chemistry and a connection with an opponent, you're doing this thing, but it's alive. That's the beauty of professional wrestling. You're discovering these things and hearing reactions off of these discoveries, and you're getting that instant gratification. That to me is just the best thing in the world, but yes, I plan on still continuing acting, and Percy Jackson comes out December 20th. Reflecting on his upcoming tag team match with John Cena against Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso, LA Knight said this to Shaq Wrestling, "In a weird way, I've got no business being here. I mean, if we look just a year ago, where I was and what I was doing, what a hell of a turnaround. Damn near unheard of. So yeah, it's kind of a crazy situation. I'm not the best at letting myself really feel that, maybe 10 years down the road when I look back, but right now in this situation, I'm just so, I don't know if you'd say manically focused or whatever it is on just making sure that everything everything hits the mark and that everything is just the way that I want it to be, but yeah, it's tough for me to step back and just be like, wow, this is great. Occasionally I might have that thought, but it's very fleeting. That's the craziest part about this in a weird way. It's like an overnight success, but it was also 20 years in the making to get an overnight success, which is just a juxtaposition in a strange way. I still have a habit of just looking over my shoulder and just waiting for somebody to pull the rug out from under me at any point in time. I'm either waiting for the rug pull or I'm waiting to kind of like jump up and defend the rug pull, because I'm used to no and be having to push, and yeah, it's me having to create my own opportunities, and even when I'm now kind of put into bigger opportunities, it's still not a point where I can relax and just be like, okay, everything's good. Noting how Jade Cargill could be a fit for his faction in WWE with Angelo Dawkins and Bobby Lashley, Montez Ford told the New York Post that everything has to be like you see what happens. The motive and the mindset that myself, Dawkins, and Bobby have now is going along a certain way to get to a certain point, an opportunity, or a certain goal, or a certain championship. All these things are now focused in our mind. If that brings along people along the way who have the same motive, who have the same mindset, and are trying to build each other up and succeed and win and go forward, if that does bring other people along the way that have that great mindset, you kind of just have to see what happens. You have to be open to everything. I would just say you have to keep your options open and see what happens. Mentioning rumored plans to have Cody Rhodes win the WWE title, Ringside News wrote that Cody Rhodes captured ton of interest and headlines when he left AEW and found his way back to WWE. He's been on top of the company ever since as one of the biggest baby faces on the roster. That also begs the question of what it will take to get him back into a title picture. One WWE fan posted on X to ask BWE a question. This fan wanted to know whether Cody Rhodes is going to win the WWE Championship. After all, he's been kept away from that picture for a while. The bona fide WWE insider replied to say 100%. Why are some believing he won't? He's a huge name for the company, their child at least, how they see him. Only time will tell when Cody Rhodes finds his way back into a major title picture. He is certainly on his way to doing big things, and WrestleMania season could see him re-enter that discussion in aggressive fashion. Writing about the WrestleMania 40 status of The Rock, Ringside News said Dwayne Johnson drummed up a lot of attention when he said on Pat McAfee's show that he is open to a match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. That is not happening unless something drastic takes place. Despite no sign that The Rock is making a return to the company aside from a one-off appearance, the rumor persists that he may get a WrestleMania main event against the Tribal Chief. Ringside News reached out to confirm that there are still no plans for The Rock to make a return for any WrestleMania run. We were told that The Rock is always going to want rumors out there about him, so that it appears as though there's all this desire for him to headline, which he thinks increases his value. That being said, there is no WrestleMania 40 match in the Great One's future. Ringside News was told that Roman Reigns' match for WrestleMania 40 is set. Things can always change, but The Rock will have to screw over a lot of people and a lot of plans for that to happen. Staying on the topic of WWE legends making an appearance at WrestleMania 40, this was said about Stone Cold Steve Austin by Ringside News. WrestleMania 40 is already on the horizon and rumors are coming out every day about the showcase of the Immortals. WrestleMania 40 takes place at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia on Saturday, April 6th and Sunday, April 7th. Some of those rumors for the big show involved WWE calling up Steve Austin to wrestle again. We are very curious about the idea of Steve Austin wrestling again, especially at WrestleMania. Ringside News reached out to a tenured member of the creative team, and we were told that any report on Austin wrestling another match is fake news. In August, Ringside News reported that WWE has a plan in place for WrestleMania's main event. It turns out that they have more than just one match slotted into the showcase of the Immortals. Ringside News previously reported that we are told that the main event matches for both nights of WrestleMania 40 are decided. The women's title matches are also decided. In an SEC filing, it was revealed that Vince McMahon has agreed to pay a huge sum to plaintiffs in a stockholder lawsuit started in January. It reads, Vince McMahon reached an agreement to pay $2 million in legal fees based on a stockholder lawsuit filed in January against WWE and McMahon for alleged breach of fiduciary duty regarding McMahon's return to the company and changing certain bylaws that gave him all the power to the board of directors, as well as costing the company money in its investigations of McMahon. After the threats of the lawsuit, McMahon changed back to the original bylaws, essentially making the lawsuit moot, since the new board that he had picked several of the members were not going to remove him from power. In addition, McMahon had paid the company back the $17.4 million for the investigation into him. The lawsuit continued at that point over the legal fees from the case, and it was settled with McMahon agreeing to pay the legal fees of the plaintiffs. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.